Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, I know there's going to be a few boos in the crowd. Guys, genuinely, I'm so sorry about the unexpected 2-week break that I took. It wasn't even planned. Like, I promise, I was planning to upload, I was planning to continue my weekly schedule, but it just took me very long to get to watching these episodes for some reason. By the time I was finally ready to watch like the last few bits before the weddings, those episodes, I was watching those, and then the wedding episode actually dropped. So now I was like, okay, well, now I don't really want to make a third video of me talking about the weddings. So I was like, okay, let me just watch these two, and then I'll just make general notes about all of those episodes together. And then by the time I had collected all my thoughts, the reunion had dropped. So then I was like, damn, now I've got to do a reunion video too. So I just got very overwhelmed. Not very good time management. So it did take just a little longer than expected. But I will be doing another video of me reviewing the reunion that will be out. Then we will be back to regular scheduled uploading. I just wanted to apologize about that little buffer that happened. Wasn't intentional. Sorry guys, but I'm back. Whatever episodes start from episode 10 or whatever to the weddings, that's the episodes that we're going to be talking about. These notes honestly are going to be in order of just the couples, wherever I was watching, and chronologically. Literally, it's just going to be whatever my thoughts were at the time when I was watching it. That's what I'm going to be talking about. So first, I'm going to speak about David and Lauren. That was like the first thing that stood out to me in these episodes. I don't even know what it is, but they go somewhere to go and meet Lauren's mum, and they basically are just talking. Lauren's mum is trying to get to know David. She's kind of sniffing him out. And David actually made one comment that was very interesting to me, because Lauren's mum asks him like, oh, how do you know that you're ready to settle down? Like, how do you know that you want to get married? And he was basically talking about the fact that all his friends in his life are already like getting married. They're all taking those next steps and everything, and he sees that they have children, they're having families, and he said that it looks fun to be a dad, so he's ready for it. And I just thought that was kind of a weird comment to make. Maybe to other people I'm just being strict as hell, like I'm nitpicking, but to me, I just don't really like that kind of reasoning as to why you're ready to become a father, why you're ready to have a family, is all because it looks fun. Like, I don't know, I feel like you should say you're ready to be a father because you want to be a dad, you're ready to be a parent. Like, do you know what I mean? That's the kind of answer that I would expect, not that it looks fun to be a dad. Like, I don't know, like to me it just reminded me, it gave me like that feeling of, you know, like men who just see like the whole having kids thing as just like, oh yeah, you know, I want like my own little like football team of like children, do that. Like, they kind of just treat it like this very trivial thing. Like, they trivialize the idea of having kids and raising kids, and it's like, no, this is actually like a whole human being that you're going to be in charge of, be responsible for like 18 years at least. So it's like, I don't know, like at least have some sort of thought behind that. In this conversation, I think Lauren's mum was basically just asking David about himself, how he's, you know, developed, how he knows he's ready to be married. And he was just basically talking about the fact that he feels like he's developed as a person through experience, whatever. And he said something that also made me kind of be like, that's a bit weird. So he basically said that he feels like he's grown more in the past month than he has in the past 32 years. I think David is 33, I'm not sure, or 34. I don't even know at this point. I just don't, I don't care how old he is, to be honest. But he made that comment and I just found it very strange. Like, what do you mean that you haven't grown at all in the past 32 years? And it also kind of gave this vibe to me that like you're treating the experiment as like this thing that is just almost like free therapy for you. Like, I don't know, you don't really take it that seriously. Like, it's not about getting married at the end to you, which also will be a clear indicator of how his and Lauren's relationship ends up by the end of this show. It was very telling, honestly, like just the way that he talks about the experience in general, all of it is very much I, me. Like, it's really just he sees it as a thing of personal development for himself, not actually in terms of building some sort of partnership or life with somebody out of this thing. Yeah, I just didn't like it. So now we're gonna move on to Devin and Virginia, because Devin and Virginia, now if you have been watching both of my reviews before, you will know for a fact that Devin and Virginia just didn't really kind of stick to me. I kind of felt iffy on, 50-50 about how I felt about them. I wasn't really sure whether I liked them or whether it was, just not. So I was like, I still need a bit more time. But this episode is finally what gave me a reason to stand firm in the fact that I just don't like these two together. I don't think they go well together. So basically, Devin and Virginia are sitting in bed and they're having like a conversation. And Virginia basically just starts saying like, is there anything else that you feel like we should talk about that we haven't spoken about? And Virginia brings up politics. And basically, it just felt like it was like she was pulling teeth. I don't know, like her trying to bring up, oh, is there anything else, kind of like controversial or like difficult conversations that need to be had. And it was just kind of like, well, surely if you men are almost about to get married, you would have had some of these conversations by now. But like, you're having to kind of probe him to want to speak about these important things. Like, it's just not really something of much concern to him, which I found a bit weird. And actually, before Virginia even brings up this conversation, like this topic about politics, when they're just speaking about their relationship in general, it just feels like they're kind of romanticizing, not a lot. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just kind of like they're trying to make a loaf of bread out of a bunch of breadcrumbs. Like, that's what it gives to me. I'm what is the substance that you guys are talking about that you claim is in your relationship? Like, I don't know, like, it's giving that you see the breadcrumbs in the plate as a loaf of bread when it isn't a loaf of bread, it's actually just crumbs. It is just like, it just lacks substance, a lot of substance, and I feel like they were romanticizing the hell out of their relationship. I'm not just not seeing this like fantastic chemistry and all this love and I'm not seeing it. Like, is it in the room with us? Is it in the room with us? Like, I just wasn't seeing it. I wasn't feeling it, and I was very confused. The conversation of politics. So Virginia basically asked Devin, "What is your opinion on politics? Like, what is your political leaning?" And Devin basically says, "Oh, sorry." Devin basically says that he doesn't really have a political leaning, which, whatever that means, I don't feel like a lot of people on this earth are truly apolitical. I think a lot of people are just probably lukewarm when it comes to whatever side of the spectrum they're on. But even then, he basically says that he just doesn't really get involved. It's not really something that he is too concerned about, which I just thought, red flag. Um red flag, because even if you haven't voted or whatever, you're not registered to vote or anything like that, like you have an opinion on something, right? Like, you have some sort of leaning or standing, like you're somewhere on the spectrum, aren't you? So it's just like, I feel like he was also trying to hold his cards close to his chest. Like, he didn't want to really say anything, he didn't want to give anything away, which I thought was kind of strange. And then Virginia basically says to him, what about your parents? Like, what way do your parents usually vote or like lean? And he was basically saying that his parents usually vote conservative, that they lean conservative because they're Christian and they vote based upon their faith. And then basically he questions her after he says that. He's like, do you feel like you vote based upon your faith? And Virginia was like, yeah, I definitely do, based upon my faith and things like that. And Virginia was just basically saying how she's a Democrat, or whatever, she votes blue. and how she is, you know, she believes in abortion rights and LGBTQ rights and things like that. And I thought that was kind of strange that she was saying to Devin that it doesn't really matter, that they're not really like aligned or they don't really agree on things politically, because to me, I just don't feel like that is like any type of relationship where it's like you don't really, like when it comes to just morals and values, if you guys don't align on that, I just feel like it doesn't work. And I feel like a lot of the times your politic is an indicator of like what your morals is. So the fact that he just either doesn't have an opinion, which I don't believe, the fact that he doesn't have an opinion, or he just doesn't really want to say anything or really, I don't know, give you any sort of sense of assurance or anything, was kind of just weird to me. I'm just like, ugh. And Virginia was just basically saying, oh, you know, it's fine to me, da da da. And she was asking like, would we be voting differently? And Devin was like, he basically responded to it with another question where he was like, well, would it be a problem if we voted differently? So you are basically saying the quiet part out loud, which is that you wouldn't probably vote the same way that she does. And to me, that just doesn't make sense. Like, like to be in a household where someone is directly voting against you, just to me, that doesn't make sense. Like, you are voting one way to try and preserve women's rights, bodily autonomy, LGBTQ rights, all of this stuff, and then he's voting against that. It just doesn't make sense to me. Basically, from that conversation, I just got that either Devin is a closeted Republican or he is just a centrist, which I think honestly is probably worse, because at least if you fall on one side of the spectrum, you can just stand in that and be honest. I feel like somebody who says, I don't, I don't really know. I feel like that kind of person is the one that will like shock you in like not a good way, if that makes sense. Like, if you get what I mean, you get what I mean. Yeah, I just didn't feel good after that conversation, and it was like that gave me my reason to be like, okay, I'm not really feeling it like that. So now we're gonna get into later into the episodes, and we're getting closer towards the weddings, and they show David and Lauren, who are planning to have this like dinner with David's friends. Like, they plan to have this dinner because I talked about in the last review how David has been harping on about this thing of Lauren, you know, the guy who she used to be with before, and you know, she apparently had a boyfriend coming into her experiment and all of that. Even though Lauren has cleared up, David just doesn't want to take her answer for it, I guess. Lauren is like, okay, well, let me at least meet your friends, we can talk about it, things like that, clear it up. So they are getting ready, planning for this thing, and David basically tells Lauren, actually, my friends just cancelled. I don't think they would be comfortable coming anymore, so I don't think it should happen. And Lauren is understandably upset because, like, why are they cancelling? Like, surely they would want to hear my side, right, if they want to know what the truth is. Because that is another thing that you'll notice throughout this entire thing, is that David claims that he wants to know the truth, he doesn't know what to believe, whatever, but he doesn't want to actually conduct the conversations that should take place in order for him to reach a fully informed conclusion. It's just kind of ridiculous how he refuses to let Lauren speak to anyone that like he's associated with, like none of his friends, none of his family. He just doesn't let her interact with me, any of them, and it's really strange. And basically it just turns into this argument where Lauren is like, well, I'm actually just really frustrated now, because it's like I'm basically helpless at this point. I can't do anything because you just don't even really want to try. Like, your friends don't even want to try, no one wants to hear me out, and like everyone is just speaking about me, they're saying all these lies and I can't even defend myself. And David was basically trying to say throughout the conversation, he's like, you know, my family, they don't just meet anyone. What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, the mind you, he is saying this to the lady who he got down on one knee for. You proposed to this lady. I hope you remember that. Like, I hope you don't have selective amnesia, because you proposed to this lady. You did that. So it's very strange how all of a sudden now he's saying, oh, my family doesn't meet just anyone. This isn't your girlfriend that you just picked up from nowhere that we're talking about. This is someone who you said that you want to get married to, someone who you want to allegedly spend the rest of your life with. It's just very weird. And it's like the fact that Lauren, she's just sat there and took that disrespect to me is crazy. Let anybody propose to me in an experiment like that, and then have the audacity to say to my face, oh, yeah, my family can't just meet anyone though. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Do you want to explain to me what that means? Like, pure paragraph essay, point, evidence, explanation, and link. Tell me what it means. But basically, it was just extremely irritating to watch this because Lauren is literally just subjecting herself to this type of like torture and emotional distress for no reason. It's like, this isn't gonna work. This man doesn't want it to work. He doesn't want to sort things out. Just let it go. Just let it go. And it's like David is here acting hesitant and whatever, and he's saying he doesn't want to bring Lauren into his life because of Lauren having a situation. But he literally says himself that before coming on the show, his sister wasn't even really on board with him coming on this experiment in the first place. She didn't even really like the idea of you coming on this show because she was so worried about someone coming on to use you or come up and they're only here for clout and all this stuff. So then why proceed with the experiment anyways? Like, to me, that's what's weird because you said it yourself, your family, they don't really like the idea of it. Your sister is definitely not on board with it. So then what's the point? You went all the way, proposed to somebody, you now want to allegedly marry them, and then it's like the vital part of meeting families cannot be done because, oh, my family actually was never really on board with me doing this experiment. Like, what? Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I thought, honestly, like, if you're actually a responsible individual, you would have just not come on the show because you can't actually properly fully do the experiment. You can't properly participate in it. We're sitting here just in flipping limbo with this guy. He's not even really doing the experiment for real at this point because even at this point, him and Lauren, they're not even staying in the same apartment. He's sleeping somewhere else. So you man not even doing the experiment for real. What are we still here for? What are we still here for? Go home. Like, both of you need to go home. Like, you're wasting time. Like, you're wasting our time. David keeps harping on as well because, you know, apparently his sister and Lena, his other family members, they're so concerned about this thing of Lauren's past or whatever, and like they want to know the details of it, the nature of the relationship, and it's just like, that's not even David's family's business. I'll be so honest. It's not their business to know whether Lauren was sleeping with this man or not, what the nature of their relationship is. It's none of their business. Like, if Lauren says herself that she was single, she was never in a relationship with this man, you guys don't need to know when it started, when it ended, when was the last time that she slept with him or not. It's just weird and it's invasive. Now we get on into this, I guess, like little meeting or gathering that the people do. Like, they have some of the old castmates come back and whatever, and they're all talking, and Lauren and Molly are talking to each other, and Molly is basically just talking about how David is low-key kind of trash and da 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 and all this stuff, and how he really actually just isn't all that. And I just thought it was kind of strange how she came with this energy now all of a sudden that he's not, David ain't the fart. He's like, he's just not it. He never was it. He never gave. And it's just like, you were ready to get married to him though. I'm not trying to clock your tea like that, but I just kind of find it cringe when like girls or like just anyone in general tries to act like the person who they used to be attracted to, entangled with, or whatever, involved with, or they try and act like now that person is just like, ew, like that's so nasty. That's like, I get you don't have to like the person anymore if they did you dirty, or like you realize that actually they're not really that great of an individual, but to try and act like they're this ugly person and just like, ugh, like he is so clapped and I'm like, it's so cringy to me because it's like, you you was ready to like get hitched with him, so I'm confused. You was ready to get married to him. You knew what his personality was like. Now you're saying, oh, his personality is kind of dead though. Like, you fell in love with that personality though. So now we're gonna get into Joey and Monica. So Joey and Monica basically are having their last date of the last date of like the before they get married, and they are like sitting in this like little conservatory or something like that with like flowers and all that stuff in the nature, and they're having like a dinner. And basically the Monica is just talking about how she feels about Joey, how she's really happy with him, and she was basically saying how like she's really content being with him. And I noticed throughout this conversation that Joey had said at one point that he has a lot of love for Monica, and I thought that was a bit ugh, because if you are at the point where you men are about to get married, like literally in like the next day, and you can't even say you that you love the lady, I'm not sure that's a good sign.
Don't laugh. You can't laugh.
Like, I'm not sure if that's a good sign. I was kind of concerned. I'm like, oh, that's not. Oh. I don't know if Monica was really paying attention or listening when he said that, but to me, I was paying attention. I was listening. I was like, yeah, write that down, because a lot of love for you. But we're supposed to get married tomorrow. Like, oh, I just thought that was a bit concerning. Now we're gonna go to Sarah and Ben. Um, if you watched my last review, you already know how I feel about Sarah and Ben. Fraudulent relationship, a chop, just a mess. Um, so Ben actually decides to take Sarah to his church because Sarah was like basically saying, oh, you know, I want to get a feel for your church, know what it's like do they align with my values and all of that. And what I was getting from it is that Sarah wanted the church to be like, what word can I use? I think she wanted the church to be very like liberal, if that makes sense. Like, I guess liberal in terms of like what like a liberal like American is. I think she wanted it to be like some sort of liberal church. I was just kind of confused as to what she was expecting when she went into the church, because the sermon that was happening when she went with Ben was about like what's it, spreading the gospel and spreading the word and getting other like people to join like Christianity, to become Christian. And she was just basically saying, oh, it didn't really resonate with me, like the sermon, and you know, I couldn't really tell what the church's values were from it. And I'm just like, well, they're not really gonna just randomly bring up their views on LGBT in the middle of the sermon. Like, that's just not that's not a common thing that happens. Like, I'm saying this as someone who grew up going to church, grew like I live in a Christian household. Like, anytime I went to church, they weren't just randomly sliding in like what their opinions were, or like what the Bible says about like being gay or whatever. Like, that just wasn't a thing. And also, like, it's a church. I'm not saying that everyone has to like the views of the church and agree with it, but I was just kind of confused as to why she was so shocked. Like, it's a church. Like, I'm personally not shocked if I go to a church and they're not preaching like, I don't know, feminist gospel or something like that. Like, I'm not gonna be shocked if like they say, yeah, the what's it, the Bible doesn't permit being gay or something like that. I'm not gonna be shocked. It's a church. It's a church. And shockingly, not shockingly, most people who go to church are conservatives. Like, yeah, most of the people who are in Ben's church are probably conservative. Like, that's why I'm just like, girl, if you know that you're liberal, that you aren't with that type of stuff, why are you in the space? Like, to me, it just didn't make sense. I'm confused because it's like no one is forcing you. Ben didn't even say you have to be Christian, you have to go to church with him. You said that you wanted to do that. So I'm kind of confused as to why you want to make, I don't know, you want to make the screw fit in a hole that isn't big enough. Like, I just don't, it was weird. Sarah was basically saying after the service that she doesn't really think that she could go back there regularly. Like, maybe she would go there for like holidays and things like that with the family. Like, girl, whatever. And she was basically just saying, oh, she doesn't see herself like saying yes in the future to like becoming Christian. but she would still want to go to church for the relationship. It was just very confusing, and it's just like, what? like, like I'm even trying to read it in my notes and it just doesn't make any sense. It was just very strange. Like she was saying, yeah, maybe I could see myself going, but like I'm not really church, I'm not really a church girl, like I'm not a church goer either. Which one is it? Like, do you not like church, or do you want to go to church, or what? Like, it was just very confusing. It's like, why are you trying to force it to work? Like, it doesn't work. Like, you guys aren't aligned, and you knew this from the jump. That's the thing that pisses me off. You knew this from the jump, and yet you still keep trying to act brand new every time it slaps you in your face. Like, it's annoying. Like, it's really annoying. So now we get on to the weddings, and the first one that shows up is Ben and Sarah's. And basically, while Sarah is getting ready to like go down the aisle, her family, like her sister, her mom, they're all questioning her about whether she's sure about her decision, which to me was very telling of the fact that most of her family members are probably like, girl, what are you doing? You man are not aligned, like what's going on here? She was basically just trying to say, yeah, I like, I don't, I went to his church and, I just don't feel like I could be in that. And Sarah's mum was literally trying to tell her in the moment. She was like, Ben, I remember him saying like it was really important to him, like his relationship with God and like going to church, like that's very important for him. So like, do you think that's something you'll be able to overcome? And like Sarah just kind of dodged the question, like she didn't really want to address it. It's like, what do you think is gonna happen when you don't address the elephant in the room? It will crush you. That's what's gonna happen. You will get crushed by the elephant. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, she gets ready, she goes down the aisle, and basically she ends up saying no. I mean, I'll be shocked, no. And her reasoning for it was saying, oh yeah, we're just not aligned. And I just want to be with someone who is aligned with me in terms of morals and values and da da da. And I mean, okay, sure, like you should have been did that anyways. I don't know why you waited until the altar to say that. But yeah, Ben just kind of takes it as what it is, like, okay. And Ben basically asks her, you still want to be in a relationship though, because I would still want to like see you and be with you. And I'm just very confused as to why Ben himself is saying that, because you know yourself as well that you lot are not aligned either. So what will you guys be dating for? Dating to do what? To end up nowhere. Like, you guys will just do a 360 and get back to the same place you was. What would you be dating for? Like, nothing would change. So what's the point? You're just elongating the process. Like, so Sarah was basically like, yeah, I'm not really sure about that. Like, we'll have to see. And she walks off and she basically just says, like in a voiceover, the main reason why she said no is because she just doesn't believe that you can fall in love with a potential person and that you have to take them as what they are. And while I do agree with that, why don't you keep that same energy like majority of the season? Why did it take you all the way to the altar to be like, maybe I shouldn't be trying to lead with this idea that, he may become whatever I want him to be, instead of just taking him for what he is right now? Like, it was just very irritating to watch. Like, whatever, I'm glad that she said no, because you man wouldn't have worked out. You probably would have divorced before the reunion even happened. Next, we're going to talk about Joey and Monica's wedding. First off, Joey, his outfit, like, it really pissed me off. Like, I remember literally, I was watching it with my sister and I saw his undershirt and I literally yelped, like I screamed, because why does this man look like he's dressed to go on vacation in Hawaii? Like, take that off. Take that off and put something appropriate on. Like, I'm not someone who is against fun, yeah, but like, it's a wedding day. Like, you don't have to, you can be fun and look good at the same time, believe it or not. You don't have to look a mess to be fun. Like, I don't know. That shirt just, it didn't go with his outfit. It pissed me off. The color coordination, it didn't eat. Like, you have Monica here in a really nice dress and then he's just like there. Doesn't even do much with his hair either, nothing. Like, ugh. And then his entrance, he literally goes down the aisle on a bloody skateboard and they play like this like rock music or whatever, like this 2000s teen like movie rock music. Like it was just so cringe. I'm just like, oh, this is peak millennial cool. This is peak millennial cool, bro. Like millennial cool, but like make it American. So they are basically saying their vows, and then they get to the decision whether they're gonna say yes or no. And Monica was basically saying that she didn't feel like she was assured by Joey. She didn't really know where he really stood, and that kind of heavily influenced her decision. And she was basically just saying that she was basing it off of the fact that she felt like Joey wasn't going to say yes. And I felt like, to me, while it does make sense to have that logic, at the same time, that isn't a good sign either. Like, that's a good sign you lot don't have a stable foundation either, because you should be basing the decision off of whether you actually want to get married to him or not because you think he's gonna say yes or you think he's gonna say no. Which I just thought, okay, so clearly there's a disconnect here. Okay, and lastly, now we're gonna get into Devin and Virginia. So Devin and Virginia's wedding, the way it went, that shit was messy. It was very, very messy. So the whole time Virginia was talking about Devin, like while she was getting glammed up, she was saying like she was just kind of talking about how, oh, I feel so blessed to like meet a guy like Devin and da da da. And I'm just thinking like, yeah, that's nice that you're saying this, but like I'm so confused on like where is this amazing guy that you're talking about? Like, and I feel like I'm being like rude or something saying this, and it's genuinely not even me trying to be shady or like mean to Devin, but it's just genuinely like, where's the material? Like, where's the flavor? Like, where's the flavor in this? I don't taste anything. Like, it's just like it's a nothing burger. Like, that's literally how I have to describe their relationship. Their relationship is a nothing burger. It's like it's just two buns. There's nothing inside. Like it yeah. Like I can't even put it into words, but it's just like, what is it? What is it that you lot are seeing? Like I'm spending the entire show just confused as hell. What is it? I also will write this down in my notes as well, but I feel like Virginia was really heavily blinded by the fact that Devin is like the first nice guy, or like the first guy that she's been with that I guess has treated her with decency. So I guess she kind of thought that she really needs to follow through with like this shit. But it's just like, I'm just like, I feel like the whole entire time it was like when she was talking, it was like her gagging at like the bare minimum or something, or like her just being like, oh yeah, he's so nice to me and da da da. Like, like that's it. Like that's the epitome of the relationship, that he's nice to you, that he got you a gift or something. Like gosh, it just, to me it's just like, wow, the bar is in hell. Like the bar is in hell. Like, were your last relationship so bad that this one that you have now with Devin just feels like you've hit the jackpot or something? Like it's just so basically now we get to the altar. Virginia walks down the aisle, they say their vows and everything, and then the officiary asks Virginia whether she wants to say yes, whether she says I do. And Virginia just ends up saying that she's not ready. She can't do it. And Devin, he starts to cry. I didn't see any tears from him, but whatever. He's crying, she's kind of upset, she feels bad that she says no. Everyone in the audience is shocked. Da, da, da. I wasn't shocked. Uh, and then Virginia just walks off, and her family comes around her, basically just consoling her. She's saying, oh, I feel so bad, da da da, like, you know, I let him down, I let down his parents. And you hear in the voiceover Devin's sister, I think it was his sister, who's the one who was just saying like, oh, like, I can't believe it, like I don't get these girls. And I actually remember when I was watching Jessie Wu's review of this episode, she was talking about how she felt like the sister saying that was an indication that Devin has had problems with the relationships before. That stuff like this has happened where women don't follow through, or they don't want to actually be in any sort of committed situation with him. And to me, I guess to other people they would read it as, oh damn, like he's just so unlucky, like no one gives him a chance. To me it read as, there's something about you that is off. There's something about you that is off, and that's why people can't stay with you. That's how I read it. That's how Jesse reread it. So I was like, okay, it wasn't just me. He was just thinking, that was kind of an interesting comment to make. And then now we get into Devin. He kind of walks back into like his suite where he was getting ready for the day. And his mum follows him and she's basically consoling him, talking to him about the situation. And she basically starts complaining about Virginia saying no, saying like, oh, well, why would you come on this experiment? If you knew what it was, you knew that you get married at the end of this, why would you say that you're not ready? Well, I don't know, maybe because she's not ready to be in a relationship with this guy, maybe because this relationship with this guy isn't actually what she expected it to be. Like, I just felt like it was a weird critique to make. Like, she came into the experiment because she was ready to find her person. Maybe Devin just isn't her person. Like, like, God forbid, like, she actually realizes, actually, this isn't it. Like, maybe I shouldn't say yes. Like, I don't know. I felt like Virginia saying yes was the fact that she felt in her gut, there was a gut feeling that was just telling her, this isn't right. Like, I shouldn't do this. And it made sense to me. And I also just felt like it was weird as well for Devin's mum to make that comment, because it's like, you don't even know the full reason why she said no. Like, she said she's not ready, but like that, I'm sure that's not the full extent of why she said no. Like, at least have like a conversation or something with her first before trying to drag her, saying, oh, she just doesn't know what she wants and da da da. Like, whoa, why do you immediately assume that your son is, he just doesn't, he's done no wrong and he's just this sweet innocent baby? Like, so now we're getting into like this little talking head interview that Virginia is doing, and she's basically just explaining why she said no. And Virginia actually further elaborates, and she's like, the one of the reasons why I said no is because me and Devin's relationship, like we just didn't reach certain points in our relationships. We never got there because Devin just didn't want to talk about certain things. Like, for example, the politics one, like Devin didn't want to push further in that conversation. So that's why when we were watching it, it looked like Virginia was like trying to pull teeth, trying to get this guy to talk about his opinion on anything because he just didn't want to say his opinions. Like, and she was basically insinuating that certain points of their relationship in terms of like the emotional connection, it didn't reach where it should, and it just confirmed my thoughts that I had in my head, that they're like, there's no substance to this relationship, that it's a nothing burger. Like, their emotional connection or whatever is as shallow as a kiddie pool. Like, I'm sorry, there was nothing there. Like, there was nothing there, and I was literally confused the entire time watching the show. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? Like, where is it? I want to see it. I want to see this connection that they're talking about, but I just didn't get it at all. I wasn't getting it, and I was like, maybe it's just me, but no. Like, Virginia says it herself. Like, they just didn't reach certain depths of their relationship. And there was also something else that Virginia said that I thought was quite interesting. So basically, Virginia says that Devin apparently got this check for a wedding present for both of them to buy, and I think apparently it was like $1,000. And Devin didn't tell Virginia about it, and he got this check a few days before the wedding, so he had ample amount of time to go and tell Virginia, but he just never told her. And she said that that was another thing that she thought was strange, and it just made her not very trusting of him, which completely made sense. And to me, I heard that and I was like, ooh. Like, now it makes sense why I felt so weird in that conversation that Virginia and Devin's family were having about like the whole financial things and da and the scarcity around the prenup and all of that. Now to me it just makes sense. Honestly, I don't think Devin really has it like that. That's really what it reads to me as, because I don't get why you wouldn't tell her something like that. I don't want to try and lead with this whole thing that, oh, he's just like a broke guy or whatever, that's why he doesn't want to get a prenup. But like, now it makes sense. Like, now it makes sense. And honestly, to me as well, it gave that the reason why he didn't want to get into certain conversations, and particularly politics, is because of the fact that he probably knew that these things would probably put Virginia off. She wouldn't want to go through with a marriage with him. So he wanted to get her, reel her in first, make sure that she's secured into the marriage, and then drop it on her. And that's like, I just don't like that. I just find Devin as an individual quite weird. I'm just gonna leave it at that there. I'm not messing with it. And that's basically the end of the episode. Taylor and Daniel do end up getting married. They're the only couple from the season that get married. Every other couple doesn't get married. I think that's just telling of the quality of this season was pretty trash. Yeah, the couples just didn't give. Wasn't I really wasn't rooting for like a single one. Taylor and Daniel, they're cute though. I think that they're nice together. Hope everything works out for them. But yeah, apart from that, this season, this cast, a mess, a chop. Apparently the next season will be in Denver, Colorado. I fear it's gonna give something similar to this season, maybe even worse. I don't know. So, well, we'll just have to see what that one gives. But yeah, that is all my thoughts on this season. I will be doing a video on the reunion, like my thoughts on the reunion soon. That will hopefully be coming out this week also. I'll try and do that. And then we'll be back to regular scheduled programming, guys. I am thinking either to do a Reddit video or do a 2B movie reaction. But I'll have to see which one I'm feeling more. Yeah. But that's it for this video today, guys. I hope you lot enjoyed. Like the video if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to my channel as well. Turn on your post notification bell so you don't miss an upload. And yeah, check out my other videos if you want to also. And I think that's it. But stay safe, stay great, and I'll see you, man, in my next video. Bye.